I have a confession to make. What's that, Selfie? When I was 12, I went on an outdoor training session. I found a Guardian Force inside one of the monsters I defeated, except that you have to draw the Guardian Force before you defeat the monster. You cannot take a Guardian Force off a monster unless you have a Guardian Force. I junctioned that Guardian Force for a while, so I have experience with Guardian Force too. But it's really weird. I can't remember the name of that Guardian Force. It must be the Guardian Force's fault. What should we do? What should we do? Nothing. What do you mean, nothing? So what do you want to do? You want to stop using Guardian Force now? As long as we continue fighting, we're indebted to the powers of the Guardian Force. If there's a price I have to pay for that, I'll gladly pay it. Hey, I know. Let's all keep a diary. That way we'll always have something to remind us. Are you sure that's what you want? Maybe that's for the best. Yeah, I don't care if I forget about my childhood when Cypher used to pick on me. What's important to me now is having the power to protect my parents and Balam, your adopted parents. They adopted me. There's no way I'm letting go of that power. So, this giant revelation for our characters results in nothing. Nothing has changed for our characters as a result of this. Hey, but there's more. Do you all remember Matron? I wonder who it could be. She was always wearing black. Let's see. Matron, dressed in black. She's the... Very kind, long black hair. Yes, I really admired her. She doesn't remind me of anybody. Maybe this is somebody new. I see a resemblance. Or maybe not. Matron, they look alike. Wait, I just pictured her face and... Look alike? Nah, that's not it. Matron's name is Edea Kramer. Sorceress Edea was the matron at the orphanage that every character in the game to this point, except for Maria, was in. Sorceress Edea didn't bring it up either, and she doesn't use Guardian Forces. To my knowledge, she has power without them. So what happened to her? Matron is Sorceress Edea. Matron? Sorceress Edea? Why is the matron? Why? You're wondering why Matron would take over a country or fire missiles and whatnot. At this point, we probably wouldn't comprehend it even if we talked about it. You're probably right. Hear me out. Seed and garden were all Matron's idea, right? I'm not a seed, but I share the same feeling with all of you. Seeds are supposed to fight the sorceress, right? This is strange. That's right. It was when I was being tortured by Cypher. He wanted to know what seed was. Matron should know. But Matron is Sorceress Edea. There's no denying that. What does this all mean? Leo, you listening? So, this is what I wanted to say. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I understand what Maria's saying. I understand, but I'm still gonna fight. I want to stay true to everything I've stood for. I'm sure it's the same for everyone. That's why I thought it'd be best if everyone we knew would have to face Matron. You've all heard this before. How life has infinite possibilities. I don't believe that one bit. There weren't many paths for me to choose. Sometimes there would only be one. From the limited possibilities I faced, the choices I have made brought me this far. That's why I value the path I chose. I want to hold true to the path that had to be taken. I know our opponent is Matron, whom we all love very much now, but not like 15 minutes ago. We might lose something very important on account of the GF, but I don't mind. It's not like I drifted here on the tides of fate. I'm here because I chose to be here. And more importantly, we all grew up together. But due to the various circumstances, we were all separated. As a kid, you couldn't really go out on your own. There were no other paths to take. All I did was just cry. But somehow we're together again, just like old times, though a lot's changed. We're not kids anymore. We're strong enough to take care of ourselves, make our own decisions. We're confronting a big one right now. Do we fight Matron or not? I say we fight. Shoot for a common goal. Hey, at least it'll keep us together a little longer. Yeah, let's do it. We can't run from her for the rest of our lives. Was that ever really an option? It's just such a bummer. I can't believe we have to fight Matron. I know, but Zell's right. We can't run from her forever. Maria, it's up to you. We're gonna fight. I think it's the only way we can move on with our lives. If that makes any sense at all, come with us. I'm sure that's what everybody wants. Look. A gift from the fairies. The fairies again? Didn't we find out the fairies were just alone this whole time? Yo, you want to go check out Edea's orphanage? I wonder what it's like now. We might find a clue. Clue? You mean as to why Matron turned out like this? Probably has to do with something that happened in the past. But the past is the past. It's over. Done with. Despite what truth we find, it's not going to change the present. But I want to see too. I don't know what we'll find, but let's head for Edea's house. I'm gonna save it. Let's finish it off right now. Let's go talk to Maria here. I guess that's it. We're fighting. You guys are fearless. Fearless? I don't think that's quite right. If you think too hard, you become lost. I think that's what everyone's afraid of. I wish we didn't have to fight either. So I still have a lot of questions. I don't care right now. Irvine and Quistis, because they're the people that I had. Even though I need to bring Selfie along, probably instead of Quistis. But, okay, I still have a shit ton of questions about what just happened. Number one, I think, this isn't really even a question. I think that it's pretty obvious. Let's just go back on board. I think it's pretty obvious that this is something that was not scripted from the beginning of them writing the story, because there were no clues that this was going to happen at all. The only clues in the game are one that's pretty solid, even though they kind of imply that it's not solid, which is when you started the game, there was on the terminal, a thing that I made it a very important point to show off. In the terminal, they do say there is a rumor that the Guardian Forces cause memory loss. Outside of that, there's nothing with regards to the Guardian Forces in this game whatsoever that Guardian Forces cause memory loss, especially substantial long-term memory loss, like forgetting you're an orphan. Seriously, you lived with these people for years, and you forgot them? You lived with them longer than they were gone, and you just forgot them. Number 2, there was no indication that any of our characters knew each other at all. Throughout the game, you just find out Cypher hates Leo, and you're willing to accept that. There's no long grudge there outside of what you assume happens in school. That's it. That's all you got. And Quistis is just the instructor trying to be nice to her students. That's all she gets. She was just as defensive about Cypher as she was Leo, and there was no indication that there was anything going on there other than maybe some feelings, which were kind of written off as soon as Maria showed up. But I think the biggest proof for me that this was not something that was scripted from the beginning and something that was just kind of tacked on is that Sid doesn't say a thing. You forgot Sid, didn't you? Everybody forgets Sid. Sid Kramer, Edea Kramer. They were married when they were at the orphanage. Sid doesn't say a thing to anybody. That his wife took care of these kids and now he's taking care of these kids. He says nothing about pairing them together. Hey, you guys should work together. You guys have been friends since you were kids. Nothing. I think that's the part that bothers me the most, is that Sid doesn't say anything. But at the end of the day, I'll be the first to say this little segment that happens right here has no bearing on the rest of the game whatsoever. A couple lines here and there, but we're done. We're going to go to the orphanage. It'll be brought up there, and then we'll move on, and it might never be brought up again. At least it never becomes a major talking point like it has been just now. We're pretty much done with the fact that these people all knew each other when they were kids. That's it. We're almost done with that. It is almost never brought up again. I don't know why it happens. It comes out of left field, and then it just disappears into right field or something. The other thing that does happen in the game that does give a little indication that these people did know each other, and I mean, you have to really read into it in order to get this, is that Irvine was hesitant to kill Sorceress Edea. Remember, during the sniper shot, he didn't want to do it. But he gave no indication it was because it was matron or anything like that. He just didn't want to take the shot because he got nerves about taking a shot. That's the way that I read into it, not necessarily because it was a shot against somebody that raised him. Once again, you would have thought that somebody would have mentioned something. But that is enough of a rant for me for now. That is going to do it for these parts of Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII. I've been Baller Scuba. I've been joined, as always, by the Orphan Squad that apparently all knew each other until the game started, of Irvine, Leo, Quistis, Selfie, and Zell. Maria's was kind of tacked on here, but she didn't know anybody. Hope you guys have enjoyed these parts. Hope you laughed. Hope you learned. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.